Well, good afternoon, Raider Nation. My name is Brent Johnson, and alongside of me is Landon Spencer, sophomore at Bacon County High School, in my engineering and technology pathway, a Technology Student Association member. We're going to be broadcasting live and producing Lady Raider softball from Atlanta, from the campus. And when I say campus, man, this place it's nice. The Lovett School. Right near the river. But as you can see, the field, when I say that, we got a bunch of shadows out there right now. It may be tough this first game to kind of see some things as the action goes. I'll try to describe it as best as possible. But as the sun goes down, I think we'll have a terrific picture. It's beautiful weather, blue skies. Temperature's going to continue to drop. Maybe the coolest night that our Lady Raiders have played all year, but we'll get to that in just a few moments. I wanted to come live a few minutes early to make a few announcements. First of all, I want to thank our title sponsors for this year's athletic school year, the 2021-22. That's Burt's CPAs, Coley's Electric and Plumbing Supply, Andy Cawthorn Auto Sales, and Family Vision Care. I'll talk more about those individually later. We are facing, in the second round of the GHSA State Fast Pitch Softball Tournament, the Lovett Lions. And they are the number 1 team out of Region 6 AA, and we are the number 3 seed out of Region 2 AA. Bacon County finished, or we have a current record of 15-9, where Lovett is 20-11. They played a few more games, obviously, than we have. But again, we're excited to be here in the Sweet 16. If we can advance in this best-of-3 series, we will advance to Columbus, and we haven't been there in a few years. It'd be nice to go back, get these young girls some experience with Columbus. And when I say young, I'll get to that as well when we get to the lineups. And I'll just do that now as I'm introing the game. Head coach for the Bacon County Red Raiders is Coach Greg Gay. This is his third season with the Lady Raiders, and we want to congratulate him on another successful season. We're very close to that number 2 seed. Vade was pretty dominant this year in our league. Had a really good pitcher, and that's what it takes to really get to that next level. And we've got some girls that I think here at Bacon County that can do that. But leading off for the Lady Raiders is going to be Ava Connor, playing shortstop. Riley Andrews, then 2-hole left field, and second base, Katie Johnson. Batting cleanups, inner field, Santana Green, and at first base, Haley Hand. Designated player is Button Holton. Pitcher, Chloe Bless. Right fielder is Anna Kate Hollingsworth, and third base, Alexis Kirkland. And
ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Lovett School.
Introductions here from the press box. I think we're going to have a national anthem. I'll pause for it.
It's a great day for softball as the Lions welcome the Bacon County Raiders to the Riverbank. Second round state playoff action. And now for today's starting lineups.
Okay, he's going through lineups. For the Lady Lions for Lovett, leading off is going to be number 11, Allie Ode, number 3, Maura McBreen, number 9, Ava Vind, I don't think correction on that. Number 6, Anna Gore. Number 20, Maggie Tucker. Number 7, Logan Easterly. Number 16, Megan O'Shaughnessy. And number 13, Evie Gilbraith. And number 2, Abby Rhodes. I want to make note early, and I may mention it later. Their number 1 pitcher is out for the remainder of the season. She suffered an injury about middle ways, had to have some surgery. I wanted to mention her name. I was talking to the athletic director earlier. Super nice people here, as hospitable as any host I've ever been to. Peyton Cannelly is her name. Peyton Cannelly. I want to give her some credit for helping to get the Lions where they are. She's just unfortunate won't be able to pitch for them the remainder of the season. Head coach for the Lovett Lions is Paralini Bush, Coach Bush, for the Lady Lions. I'm going to take a quick break. And again, be back in just a moment as we broadcast live on the NFHS Network, powered by Play On Sports, brought to you by BCTV's Red Raider Broadcasting.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Wow, I hope you could hear that from home. I'm not sure what a great live rendition of the national anthem from the local chorus instructor here at the Lovett School. Again, I want to welcome you on to the NFHS Network, powered by Play On Sports, brought to you by BCTV's Red Raider Broadcasting. My name is Brent Johnson. I'm an instructor at Bacon County High School, and I teach engineering and technology pathway. It's a 3-course pathway in the engineering field of STEM. It is Foundations of Engineering, Engineering Concepts, and Application, or in Engineering Applications. It's a 3-semester pathway that students have the option to take during their 4-year high school career. So again, along with me is, excuse me, sophomore. I have to think every time when I say his name, because he's a man with 2 first names, okay? And I've always heard that you never mess with a man with 2 first names, but so I have to think, because sometimes I'll call him Spencer and sometimes I'll call him Landon. But his name is Landon Spencer officially. Great kid. Traveled to Atlanta here with me to help broadcast and produce Lady Raider softball. And we're going to get things started here. Ava Connor. Freshman Ava Connor. I wanted to confirm that. Most of our girls on our team are freshmen or sophomores. And she's going to take to the plate and lead off this Sweet 16 best-of-3 matchup. Ball high. We're slightly right of home plate, not directly over center. And again, nothing I can do about the shadows across the field. That's only going to get worse or better as the game goes forward. It will get better once the sun goes down, obviously. Game 2, and that might be game 2 when that is, being a 5 o'clock start. So bear with me. I'll try to describe what's going on, again, from play to play, as if it were radio. Pitch up in the zone. Quickly, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Also, I'll be calling balls and strikes, not posting them on the score bug, excuse me. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, no outs, top of the first. Ball gets away from the catcher. She's going to hustle down the first, and she's going to be safe. What a great play. Anytime the catcher, swing and miss like baseball, and the catcher misses the ball or can't control it, the runner has an opportunity to advance to first, and she was able to do that. Great hustle there by Ava. So a base runner to lead off here. This field, you can't tell, but it's a short field. It's got to be somewhere around 180 feet if I had to guess, rather than the 200, but it does have about a 12-foot fence, 10 to 12 foot. It's kind of hard to tell from here. That compensates for the shortness of the outfield. And that can play a defensive role, especially with our girls when we're not comfortable necessarily. We're used to a little bit bigger field, so the angles will be slightly different. And up to bat again is Riley Andrews. Pitcher doesn't appear to be overpowering, but you don't have to be. It's like baseball. If you hit your spots and have some off speed. Again, Andrews is a junior. She's playing left field, followed by Katie Johnson, the lone senior on the team. Another high pitch in the zone, couldn't lay off. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ooh, off the helmet. That's going to have 2 base runners now. I think it was just a glance. I think she's going to be okay.
Second baseman, number 6, Katie Johnson.
Again, senior Johnson, she has some pop in her bat. With the fence this tall, it's difficult to line one out, so they're going to have to kind of hit a pop-up home run. We're not known for our power this year overall. A few home runs, but first and second, no outs. Katie Johnson to the plate, followed by Santana Green. An attempted bunt. That was a little surprising to me, but hey, it's the playoffs. One ball, 1 strike. Number 6, as Ava Gore is the pitcher. I didn't announce that earlier. I'm sorry, Ava Vind. Swing and a miss by Katie. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Again, no outs, runners at first and second. Trying to grab a few runs here in the top of the first. Another swing and a miss. Should be a pretty good matchup between these two teams. The Lions were very successful in their region play along with Pace Academy. But outside of their region, when they stepped out of the region, it was a little lackluster. It's a strike. I expect this Lovett team to play very good fundamental softball. Ball high in the zone. 1 ball, 1 strike. Oh, I take that back. It's 2 strikes. No balls, 2 strikes. At this height, it's kind of hard to tell. I didn't see what the umpire put up. Okay, maybe it was 1 and 2 a moment ago. I got it right. One ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Top of the first, game 1. Low in the zone, 2 balls, 2 strikes. I truly believe, I was talking to some parents earlier. By the way, we have a pretty good crowd here so far. About 35, 40 fans from Bacon County made the trip. Ball low in the zone. Gets away, runners advance. Scoring position, second and third with 1 out. And Santana is going to be full count. And she fouls it back. I wonder if she's got some type of rise ball that's giving them a little bit of a fit. Couple mistakes here early by Lovett. See if we can take advantage. Good at bat by Santana. On deck is Haley Hand. A little shout out to Haley's dad, David Hand. I spoke with him a couple days ago. I asked to borrow a tent that he has, and I was going to give him a plug for a State Farm. For ball inside is going to Walker. Close play over at third. It's hard to see in the shadow. Heads up play by the catcher, firing back down the line. I almost caught our base runner off guard there. Bases loaded with 1 out. Again, Haley Hand, I was mentioning to about her dad, David. I brought the tent all the way up, but we were able to set up in the shadow, in the shade. So that's a pretty big, heavy tent to get set up. But I'm going to give him a plug anyway for the thought, letting us borrow it. That's Mr. David Hand, State Farm Insurance. His office is in Waycross, Georgia. David's homegrown, went to school with one another, proud graduates of Bacon County High School in 1994. A couple girls on this team with guys I went to school with and girls. Alexis Kirkland is another, her dad Wayne. And Anna Kate Hollingsworth, Sean Hollingsworth, her dad went to school with him as well. All right, Haley Hand, 1 ball, no strikes. Got to try to take advantage of this. And she hits it back up the middle, through the middle for a hit. Had to hold up at second to make sure the ball went through. Base hit RBI for Hand. Base is still loaded. 1 out. Buttonholt comes to the plate. Followed by Chloe Pless, our starting pitcher. Lady Raiders lead 1-0. Again, I'm on the computer too. I'll try to keep the score correct on the score bug. I'll definitely update it between innings. I do have Landon on the camera. He's going to do a little zooming and a little panning, something we normally don't do. It's a good pitch on that outside corner. Mentioned already, it's amazing facilities here. Really, it's kind of carved out of the side of a hill here. This ball's hit to the left side. Base hit. Another run's going to score. Chloe Pless to the plate, the pitcher, trying to help herself. Still one out. Going to come to the mound for a visit as the coach. I'm going to take a moment to mention our title sponsors once again for the 2021-22 athletic school year, being Burt CPAs, Mr. Larry Taylor specifically. I'd like to thank Cody's Electric and Plumbing Supply, and that's Miss Lisa Coley and all of her staff up there that help each and every one of us in our community with our electrical and plumbing needs. Mr. Andy Cawthorn Auto Sales. Boy, Mr. Andy he normally has a vehicle for us to be able to, he loans us to drive in occasions like this. He was unable to. That's a good thing. I think he was selling a couple of them, a pickup and a large SUV. But go by and see him for your new and used car needs. And then finally, last but not least, Family Vision Care. That's Drs. Hutto and Dr. Day. We can say now another homegrown that we're proud of that's come back to be a part of that vision care at Family Vision Care. All right, here we go. Chloe Pless. Oh, boy, we're in trouble. So looks like we're going to be in a rundown. Safe, get up and run. Get up, go home. I don't know if you can see. Ball gets away. We do get a rundown. It was fortunate but unfortunate. It did allow Santana was able to play pickle long enough for a run to score for them to have another throwing error. Lady Raiders are going to lead. Again, that was an attempted bunt. Or a hit and bunt, hit and run type squeeze play there. The good thing is the Lady Raiders lead 3-0 here in the top of the first. And there's still, well, now I'm sorry, there's 2 outs now. 2 outs. All right, we're going to get a courtesy runner. Armengold is going to be the base runner for Pless. Have runners at second. Or excuse me, a runner at second. Chloe Pless is still at the plate, followed by Hollingsworth. I take that back. I said something earlier. It didn't look like she had a bunch of heat, but she took it to a little extra gear with that pitch, it looked like. Of course, it was high in the zone, too. Makes it look even faster. But the count here is no balls and 2 strikes on Chloe. And that's going to be a foul ball. Straight back. And, again, I apologize for the shadow. There's really nothing much I can do about that. It'll get a little better whenever the sun. Another foul ball. We're going to zoom in a little bit. Get a little closer to the action. Landon will be able to pan around, kind of follow the ball a little bit for us tonight. Again, one of the most hospitable places I've been. I've been dealing with 2 or 3 different gentlemen here, the athletic director, director of communications, and another young man. I forgot his title. Just been fantastic people. They allowed us to tie into their local Wi-Fi. You'd think right here just north of Atlanta you'd have plenty of Verizon, and I do have multiple bars, but I'm not getting a very good internet connection, internet signal as far as specifically upload speed. So I was able to, he's got a booster, and he was able to allow me to tap into that and hopefully giving you a nice crystal clear picture at home with some good audio. Or it may sound good. I don't know how well it's being spoken. Oh, that ball looked high and outside even from here. But nevertheless, the Lady Raiders tack on 3 early as we head to the bottom of the first. I'm going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in just a moment from the Lovett School in Atlanta. All right, we are back in the bottom of the first inning, game one of the best of three series in the Sweet 16 of the GHSA State Softball Tournament. The all-important game one. You don't have to win it, to get it done, but it really puts the losing team in a spot if you do go down one. And if the Raiders can somehow pull this first game out here, upset in game one of the Lovett Lions. I know it's early, just 3-0 top of the first. There's the bottom of the first. Let's see what's going to happen here as Ode comes to the plate. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Allie Ode. I'll definitely get her first name right. O-H-D-E. Quick bat there. Good-looking athlete is Allie. Checking the ball, make sure there's no scuff. I've noticed we have in this round and beyond, there's 3 umpires on the field of play. Oh, right back to can of corn. Well, I'm sorry, I can't use can of corn on an infield hit. That's only a fly ball. 1 up, 1 down.
Third baseman, number 3 for victory.
Number 3, the third baseman. McBreen, followed by Vind, the pitcher. Just a little outside for ball 1. Again, if you're just joining us, your Lady Raiders, and again, I got to update my score bug, leads 3-0, and we are in the bottom of the first. I don't do a great job of keeping up and updating the score bug. I do apologize. Landon does a much better job, but again, I've got him on the camera actually moving it around a little bit tonight for us. Just a little low in the zone. It's going to be 3 balls, no strikes. I think we were able to get a little bit of a scouting report. Jeff Davis played this team earlier in the season, back early September, I believe it was, and Jeff Davis defeated this team 12-2. We defeated Jeff Davis 6-5 in the last game of the series. We played with them in the regular season. So if that's any indication. High and outside. It's going to be a walk for McBreen. And it's going to bring Ben, the pitcher, to the plate, followed by Anna Gore. He pronounced it Vinci. It's not a D, it's a C-I. Coach, their Lovett coach has a doctor's handwriting. One out, runner at first, bottom of the first. Ball's going to be fouled out of play. Sharply hit to left field. Base hit for the pitcher as she helps herself. Shout out to Coach Mike Thompson. He is watching on the NFHS network. update from Jeff Davis. They're winning game one, top of the sixth, 2-0, and they're playing Banks County as they hosted Banks. Shout out to Mr. Thomas Clay. Speaking of Da Vinci, or Vinci, Mr. Clay, thank you for being a avid watcher of our programs. And certainly, last but not least, that has contacted me is Miss Lisa Hughes, one of my oldest subscribers to the NFHS network. She constantly tells me that this is one of the best investments she makes every year. And I'm sure her husband, John, is not too far behind watching. Mr. John Hughes. First and second. One out. Certainly can't believe the Let's Lovett team is going to allow us to come in here and rule them in 3 or 4 innings. They're going to play some, again, I mentioned earlier before the game started, some good fundamental softball. Well-coached team, just like ours. And when you're in the round of 16, the game should be close. It should be competitive. This ball is hit sharply down the right field line. Again, now that we're on defense, I described earlier when I first got here to the fields, I noticed that these fields the baseball field is just to the right of here. Both fields are rather short, distance-wise, to the fence. I think the regulation is around 200 feet for ladies softball, girls softball. If I had to guess, these fields are about 180, 85 feet. But the fences are anywhere from 10 to 12 feet tall. So that's kind of compensates for the shortness of the field. But what it can do is, if you're not used to playing this defensively, your angles are a little different. You're playing a little bit deeper than you normally would. Good pitch in the lower right-hand corner of the plate, just a little low. The baseball field is even more dramatic. It's only 345 to center, 315 down the lines. Normally you're talking closer to 400 feet, between 375 to 400 feet in a baseball field, and those fences are really high there too. This ball is going to be hit, just out of reach of our shortstop. Runner's going to score. We might have a play at the plate. But probably – maybe, again, hindsight's always 20/20. Throwing the ball into third base probably was the better option. It would have held the runners up at first and second. But, again, you got a lot of adrenaline out there and a little bit lower throw, and it would have been really close at home. So the game's scores 3-1 now. One out, and maybe more importantly, Lovett now has runners, both runners in scoring position at second and third. And that's going to bring, let's see, Maggie Tucker to the plate. Followed by Easterly. Ball is hit to left field. Riley's charging in. It's a seeing eye single. Nothing you can really do about that, and that's just unfortunate. Score is going to be 3-2. That's 3 base hits in a row, though. Runners at second and third again.
Number 7, Logan Easterly.
Three to 2, bottom of the first, one out. Got to find a way to stop the bleeding here. Pless, freshman. And our catcher is a freshman. Pless is not overpowering, but she's got good stuff. She's in and out, up and down. It's been solid all season for the Lady Raiders. Strike low in the zone. Good pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here at the lower half of the lineup, maybe we can come out unscathed anymore. Keep the lead here, 3-2. Just off the plate. Pless doesn't take much time. She works quickly. So everybody has to get ready. The batter, the umpire. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That's what the doctor ordered. It's going to bring up O'Shaughnessy. I was waiting on the field announcer to pronounce her name. O'Shaughnessy. Megan, number 16, comes to the plate with runners at second and third. Kind of hard to see there in the shadow. Just a little low. Good crowd from Bacon County. Didn't expect any less. Got 35 or 40 Almanians in the stands. Probably 50 on the Lovett Lions side. Two balls, no strikes. Do have a base to share, but would really like to get this girl here. Ball high in the zone. We are at the 7th spot here in the lineup. Ball hits sharply. I tell you, the dugout's going to have to keep their eyes open. That's 3 or 4 balls that's been fouled against our dugout wall down there. Good pitch on that high outside. That was a pitch that was he gave that pitcher last inning that I was kind of complaining about. So I'm not complaining anymore as long as he's consistent with that spot. It's going to be probably good for both pitchers. And that was the same pitch, and that's going to get us out of the inning. Raiders will continue to lead 3-2 as we head to the top of the second. And I'm going to take another quick break, honor our sponsors, and be back in just a moment. Okay, back top of the second inning. Anna Kate Hollingsworth is going to lead off for the Lady Raiders in the 8th spot, followed by Alexis Kirkland. And we're back to the top of the lineup with Connor. First at bat for Hollingsworth, a sophomore. Weighing outside, she squared the bunt. Quick update. Correction, JD is at Banks and I'm all too familiar with that place. We traveled up a couple years ago. Last time we made was it last year? Year before, 2 years ago, yes, right above Commerce, Georgia. So it was a haul, and they had a stud pitcher that year. And a matter of fact, I think Banks went on to win the state championship that year. 2 balls, no strikes. Good cut. This young lady plays fantastic defense, very athletic, and she has a really good arm as well. And again, just a sophomore. Just a little too far outside. It's going to be 3 balls and 1 strike. Again, this is game 1 of 3. We'll play in a doubleheader today. We started at 5 for game 1, and game 2 is scheduled for 7, but most likely it'll be slightly after. That's usually about 25 minutes following the first game. We'll go live for that. I'll give you some more information the closer we get. And then the if game. If we split, win 1, lose 1, either of the two, we will play tomorrow afternoon. We'll hang around and play at 4 p.m. tomorrow. Nobody wants that. That's a big walk by Anikate. Again, great athlete, can run the base as well. To the 9 spot, Alexis Kirkland, third baseman. And it was confirmed. Banks County did win the state championship that year. Thanks, Coach Thompson. He is my statistician, whether he knows it or not. Coach, keep the updates coming from not only Jeff Davis. If you can somehow find some scores from the other teams out of Region 2AA, we are pulling for those teams as well. That's Vidalia and Toombs. I think we were the only region in the state, in at least AA, where all 4 teams in our region advanced to the second round. And I'm sure Coach Thompson will jump on that statistic for me. And I can't imagine that happened in very many regions across all classifications. I won't ask him to look that up for me. Good cut there by the freshman, Kirkland. I mentioned earlier, I went to school with her mom, Alyssa. And Wayne was a little bit older, but Wayne was a tremendous athlete. Boy, he was fast. He could put him up and put him down. Again, no outs, runner at first. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Strike on that low. That's a good pitch. That's tough to want to go after. And he's calling it low and high on that outside corner, just off the plate, or the ball, just a small portion of the ball catching the plate. Coach Thompson, keep me updated on the Braves score as well. It's going to be difficult for me to keep up with that. I hated yesterday when I looked. I said surely they'll be starting time for the Braves will be 10 p.m. because they're out on the West Coast, but sure enough, they started early, and game time was at 5. I haven't even looked. 1 out here in the top of the second. Runner at first, Hollingsworth. Drew a walk. Kirkland struck out, and we're back to the top of the lineup with Ava Connor. She reached on an error. And that's that Strike on that outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Yeah, there it is. LA's up 2-0 early over the Braves. But back to action here. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out on Connor. She leads off for a reason because she draws walks and she gets on base with hits. Connor's our shortstop. Riley Andrews on deck. Riley is our one of few 3 sports stars. She plays softball, basketball, and soccer for the Lady Raiders. And she is one of 2 juniors on the team. Connor reaches out and stays alive. The ball back. I thought if it missed the fence, I might could have caught that. Hit the backstop there. The netting. Just an off-speed pitch there. Just a good pitch. Caught Connor off guard there.
Left fielder, number 5, Riley Andrews.
Riley reached. She was hit by a pitch in the first inning, followed by Katie Johnson. 2 outs now. Evidently this catcher has got a pretty good arm. Otherwise, Anna Kate would have been sent long ago. Yeah. Catcher, I know she does because I was told before the game started. I mentioned the pitcher. Their number 1 pitcher is out and has been out for about half the season. Had to have some surgery, injury she sustained. Peyton Kennelly. And she is slated, has signed and committed to go to Dartmouth College to play softball along with this catcher. The catcher is also headed there. 7 seniors on this team. So we are by far out-experienced, but this ball is slammed into right field, right center we're going to get a run in. They're fiddle-farting around with it out there in right field. Riley's going to have a stand-up double. I'm going to score it a stand-up triple. I'm going to score it a triple, but it probably is a double in the books because they neither player out there could decide who was going to pick it up really, and they fumbled it around just a little bit. But the Raiders gets 1 on the board, 4-2. And that ball was smoked to right center. Runner at third with 2 outs. Katie Johnson struck out her first at bat. The lone senior, not the Ranger, but the lone senior on the team. I want to give a shout out to her mom, Miss Johnson. She streams some games live, and she may be tonight. She usually is on Facebook, her Facebook page, giving folks an opportunity. Even like myself, when I can't be at certain games, I'll check in and catch, especially away games. We typically don't broadcast away softball games or away baseball games during the regular season, because it's just so difficult during the week and the setup in different venues. But we do try to follow them in the playoffs as we're doing now. And basketball is the same way. We don't do any away basketball either, because the number one reason there is it's just difficult to be able to broadcast out of away gyms. And we're going to get another run home by an error, and we'll take every one we get, folks, in the playoffs. Frustrating for the other team, but at this time you got to take advantage of every opportunity when you're in the playoffs like this. 5-2. Your Lady Raiders lead now here in the top of the second inning. Santana reaches after the walk. Santana walked her first at bat. Keep this rally going. Just a little indecisive. This ball is slammed into right field. Another base hit. Going to hold the run. Nope. Sending her on around to third base. It's Katie, and she has the athleticism to do it. Runners at the corner. I love to see hitters go the opposite way, whether it's softball or baseball. I remember the other night. Now, Freddie Freeman has struggled of late, but the last game of that series with that they played with Milwaukee, he said after the game, he said, that's what I practiced. He hit that opposite field home run to end up being the game-winning run. And he said he practiced at batting practice, going the other way, going the other way, going the other way. Ball high in the zone. This kind of play, and I've seen it on our team and other teams, it just kind of snowballs. Those types of plays, these little errors and mishaps and mistakes and stuff. And then on top of that, with some good base hits from our Lady Raiders, it frustrates the team, especially a good disciplined team, and causes them to do press a little harder and make even more mistakes. Again, early, top of the second. Almost 45 minutes into this game. Haven't completed 2 innings. Ball high in the zone. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Big swing and a miss. By Haley Hand. She had a RBI base hit, her first at bat. Another update by Coach Thompson. The Vidalia Indians won game 1 6-0 over Elbert County. Vidalia has a really good chance to challenge for a state championship with the caliber of pitching they have. This ball has popped up, could be trouble, and it's squeezed by the second baseman. It's going to end the inning after your Lady Raiders have scored another 2, and it's 5-2 as we head to the bottom of the second. We're going to take a quick break, catch my breath, and we'll be back just a moment in the second round of the GHSA state playoffs. Bottom of the second inning. Galbraith, Evie Galbraith, number 13, comes to the plate in the 9 spot. And we're back to the top of the lineup for the Lady Lions. Shadows continue to come over the field, which helps a little bit with the picture. One ball, 2 strikes on Galbraith. Chop foul. The Lady Lion volleyball team just showed up to support the softball team. This ball hit sharply down that right field line. Got to keep your head on a swivel on that side. Two balls, 2 strikes. Another ball chopped left. Ball is going to be hit to the second baseman, Johnson. Routine play to first for the first out of the inning.
The fielder, number 2, Abby Rhodes.
No balls, 1 strike as we're back to the top of the lineup. Ollie Ode, she grounded out her first at bat. Chloe Pless again, if you're just joining us, on the mound, freshman for the Lady Raiders. Strikes out. The leadoff hitter. I apologize. I went to the top of the lineup too quickly. That was Rhodes that just struck out. She was the 9 spot. Oh, and she smokes this one to left field. Over the fence. Wow. That was Odie. Home run. That's what you got to do to hit it over that wall. Wow, what a shot. By Odie. It's going to bring the score to 5-3.
Third baseman, number 3, Maura McBree.
It's going to bring Mara McBreen to the plate. She walked her first at bat. That kind of fired up the home crowd as well as the dugout. 5-3, your Lady Raiders lead now. Just a little off the plate. One ball, one strike, 2 outs. Had a ground out, a strikeout, and a big home run by the leadoff hitter. Again, a long game, almost an hour in, and only haven't quite finished 2 innings. This ball is hit shallow infield, squeeze. That's the can of corn I'm talking about. As Katie squeezes it, get out of the inning, only giving up 1 run, still lead 5-3. Let's see, my phone wiggle jiggled. Nope, no update. We're going to take another quick break, honor the sponsors, and be back in just a moment. Raider Nation, welcome back to our live broadcast from the Lovett School, north of Atlanta, just on the outskirts of Buckhead, near the river. 80-acre campus here. It's beautiful. I haven't been through the whole thing. The football stadium is over near, right on the river. Man, what a unique place this is, without a doubt. Second round of the state playoffs, game 1 of 3, potentially. It's a best-of-3 series. Button Holton takes strike 1. Button had a base hit her first at bat. And she was right on that pitch, just underneath it. Umpire checking the ball. Anytime it hits, there's a brick, like our field at home, there's a brick fencing, except it's really high, a lot higher than ours. I'm not sure if there's padding anywhere back there or not, but. Oh, wow, right between the shoulder blades. That was way off inside. Sounded like it hit muscle, but yeah, I know that stung. Ooh. She's going to have to walk that one off. I heard it from here. That stings. Really stings. It's going to bring Chloe Pless to the plate, followed by Hollingsworth. Pless struck out, so she's got unfinished business there. Anna Kate Hollingsworth walked her first at bat. Again, I said earlier, it's probably going to be the coolest night the Lady Raiders have played thus far this season, and as you'd think it would be naturally progressing as we get closer to the end of October. It says it's currently where I'm at, 74 degrees. It sure feels a little cooler than that. Maybe it is in the shade where I'm sitting. But as we progress, it could definitely be in the low 60s before we even by the time we start game 2, slow as this game's going. Runner at first, no outs. Off-speed pitch. I can tell why this catcher has got a scholarship to play at the next level. Pretty fundamentally sound, and again, I don't think we'll test her on the base path. Only balls that's gotten away from her are the ones that have been really, really off the plate. Wild pitches, I would say. A little foul ball by Pless. Staying alive. It's kind of what she did before. With no outs here in the top of the 3rd inning. I need to change. I got to update my score bug. That reminds me. Wow, I missed the whole last inning. Top of the 3rd. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ball's high in the zone. Big cut. Going to be strike 3 in her 2nd strikeout of the game. It's going to bring us to Anna Kate Hollingsworth. Walked her first at bat. Low in the zone. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 out. Top of the 3rd. Game 1. Big cut. It's going to be 1 ball, 2 strikes on the sophomore. Shout out to Mr. Bentley Carter and his wife for making the travel to watch this young lady. Another big cut and a miss. It's going to be strike out for Hollingsworth. We go to Alexis Kirkland, and she struck out her first at bat as well. 5-3 in the top of the 3rd inning. Slated to play 7 innings. Ball outside. That was a good pitch, change up. Ball's fouled back. Oh, and it does just off the net. Off the plate, outside corner, strike 3. That was 3 in a row. That's obviously what they were looking for, not us. But we still lead 5-3 as we head to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Go Raiders. We're going to take a quick break. I tell you what, Miss Lisa Hughes, I like these. If you're still watching, which I'm sure you are, I like these walkout songs. I think we need to incorporate that at Bacon County. Brings a little snazz, for lack of a better term, to the game as they walk out with their favorite tune. You probably can't hear it from home. But this is Ava Vinci, the pitcher. She had a base hit her first at bat. Followed by Gore. She had a base hit. And Maggie Tucker also had a base hit. So this ball hit flared down the right side. Good pitch. Just a little inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Another ball just off the plate. Fouled away. Just turned the lights on. Now, these are the type of lights it takes a little bit for them to warm up. They definitely turn them on plenty of time. The shadows have just about covered the whole field. Pless is going to have to be quick, and that's a tough play. She took her eye off the ball just for a second, but that's a lot of speed. You just about have to give her an infield hit there. I'm going to. I'm not sure how it'll officially be scored. Just a lot of spin on that ball. Just a tough play for the pitcher. That's going to be another base hit. This young lady might test the arm of our catcher. Anna Gore comes to the plate, and she tries to drop down that little bunt. And she had the first RBI. For this Lion team. This ball is rifled down the left field. It's going to be foul. Quickly, no balls and 2 strikes. This young lady seems like a hitter. We're going to have to be careful here. And she hits it to that right side, unable to quite get to it as our second baseman. It's another C&I single there. Definitely the top five hitters in their lineup is where it's at. So we got one more to get through. Maggie Tucker. She had a base hit her last at bat. Runners at first and second. Little trouble here for the Lady Raiders. Here in the bottom of the third with no outs. Easterly on deck. She struck out her last at bat. That's what we're looking for here. Pop-ups and strikeouts. Ball was pumped right down the pipe. Good pitch. A little extra mustard on it, too. And an update from Coach Thompson. Thank you, JD. Won game 1, 2-0. That's a big win there up at Banks County. Looks like Toombs lost 9-4 in game 1, and they're down 2-0 in game 2. I'm going to have to double check my bracket here and see. Toombs is playing. They're way up in the mountains, Union County, Blairsville. I was up in that area a couple weekends ago. Beautiful place. strike on that outside corner for strike 3. What a great pitch. I'm telling you, I would be pouring it, both pitchers. I'd be pouring it in on that outside corner because he has been consistent on that call. So we're to Easterly, and she struck at her last at bat. Man, that would be good to see another strikeout here. And if you're listening, if you're not aware of the Lovett School, it is a private school that's playing in AA. Pretty hefty tuition at this university. This is public knowledge, so I'm not saying anything out of the way. It's about averages about $30,000 a year. K through 12 is what they offer, about 1,600 students here. And you guys can do the math at home on that one. Ball fouled, thankfully, down that left field line by Easterly. Ball a little low. It's going to be 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Again, Logan Easterly to the plate. Struck out her last at bat, followed by O'Shaughnessy. I just slaughtered that, I know. Megan. I'm going to call her Megan. Megan grounded out her last at bat. Another foul ball just out of reach of the third baseman. I'm not sure if we were able to turn the camera and get that shot or not. She fired that ball in low, and that was a good-looking pitch. Man, ooh. I guess it was low. Bases loaded, 1 out. And that's not a horrible thing. You get an out at any bag by touching it. We may have to give up a run to do it. O'Shaughnessy. The G is silent in the middle. She grounded out her last at bat. Well, we need, prefer a pop-up. Just a little low. Nowhere to put her. 2 balls, no strikes, 1 out here. Bottom of the third. Again, we are 1 hour and 15 minutes into this game, and we haven't even completed 3. That's a strike. And the shadows are almost gone from the whole field. Another foul ball. Chop to first, going home, making the play. That's a sure out. What a great play by the first baseman, Hand.
Second baseman, number 13, Evie Galbraith.
Evie, not Evie. I apologize. Evie Galbraith. She grounded out her last at bat, and that's what we need here. Ground out, pop up, strike out. Just no runs scored. The score is 5-3. Your Lady Raiders still lead. 2 outs. Just a little off the plate. Getting out at any base. And this is yes, another routine play there. The second baseman, the senior to the sophomore to end the inning with no runs scored. What a great defensive inning for the Lady Raiders. We're going to take a quick break, and I'll be back in just a moment. Live in the second round of the GHSA State Playoffs at the Lovett School in Atlanta. Your Lady Raiders lead 5-3. We head to the top of the fourth. Ava Connor chops one to the third baseman. A good defensive play there by the Lady Lions. But what that does do is breaks a strikeout streak by the Lady Raiders. Riley Andrews tripled her last at bat, hitting it to right center. She has plenty of power to pound one out of here. Off speed on that outside corner. That's tough. But I'm telling you, if she could time that, she'd hit it in the trees behind the parking lot, behind the fence. Ball low. One ball, one strike, one out. Again, top of the fourth. 5-3. Ball high. 2 balls, 1 strike. She was on that one. Good cut. Right back up the middle. It's going to be a tough play. Hugs the ground for a base hit for Riley.
Second baseman number 6, Katie Johnson.
Katie struck out and walked. One out, runner on. High and away. Johnson takes Ball one. 1-1 with one out. Runner at first. Man, if we could tack on another one here, especially after blanking them in the bottom of the third, leaving them with bases loaded. Foul tip. Two balls, two strikes on the senior. Oh, she left it over the plate, but Katie was unable to connect. It's going to be a strikeout. Santana Green with a walk and a base hit. Smoked it down the right field line. Tell you what, it's starting to get a little chilly. I'll have to go get my hoodie. Especially being in the shade. The sun is just peeking out over the trees, catching a little bit of the stands. There's a good off-speed pitch right on that outside corner. Maybe the best of her in her repertoire. You guys remember the off-speed pitch that just a couple years ago? This ball is skied. Should be a can of corn, and it's squeezed for the third out. That was the quickest inning of any of the two. 3 up, 3 down for the Lady Raiders. Again, we're going to head to the bottom of the fourth. Still leading 5-3. Be back in a moment. Bottom of the fourth. Lady Lions trying to scratch out or scratch back into this game as your Raiders lead 5-3. Just a slow-moving game, I tell you. Whew. 1 hour, 25 minutes in. And we just passed halfway. Let's see. This should be Rhodes. She struck out her first at bat, and then we're back to the top of the lineup with Oli. And, boy, she smoked a home run her last at bat. One ball, two strikes. Ball's lifted out of play to the right. Low and inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And that's not what we really wanted to do, is walk the number 9 batter.
The catcher, number 11, Allie Odie.
Allie Odie comes to the plate. Number 11, again, had a big home run, her first at bat. I can't imagine we've given her anything to swipe at here. That's why I was kind of hoping maybe we got the number 9 hole out, and you could be real conservative with Oli. Just got to be careful, or they'll take the lead on, or excuse me, she'll tie this thing up with one swing. And that's a good-looking pitch inside, high and inside corner. I think it surprised her. She looked a little surprised. Guess the batter asked for timeout. This ball was chopped to the second baseman. You got to get her glove down, and it's the base hit up the middle. That ball just stayed low. Pretty much all of the base hits that have been hit solid have stayed down. No outs, runners at first and second. So the Lions have something going again. I mentioned earlier, it looks like they're going to do most of their damage. Like a lot of teams, their best hitters are in the first 4 or 5 spots of the lineup. McBreen to the plate. She has walked and struck out, so she's the only one without a hit in the top 5 of the lineup. But she has reached. And there's a bunt. And yeah, it's a tough play. Everybody's safe. And again, it's not a horrible thing that bases are loaded. We probably, if we'd have gotten an out, we'd have probably walked the next batter anyway to load them up. So no reason to truly panic here. Again, just got to play solid defense. Out at any bag. You just have to think you're probably going to have to sacrifice a run here at some point, at least. Up 2, 5-3. Top of the 4th. Excuse me, bottom of the 4th. Yeah, I'm getting a chill. This temperature is going to be dropping really quickly just as soon as that sun goes on down. First baseman is in, the only one that's drawn in. This is what all the practice and games during the summer ball and the seasons, what it boils down to here in the playoffs. Making a fundamental defensive play here somehow, some way. This ball's popped up. That's what you want. It should be infield fly. And I'll be honest with you, Coach Thompson, help me out here. This may be silly of me, but Does softball have an infield fly rule like baseball? I didn't see a signal from any of the umpires to designate or hear nothing audible come from them. One out. That's what we needed. This ball is going to be caught by the left fielder. She's going to fire it home. Great defensive play. Fundamental softball. That's what I said a while ago. Just got to make some fundamental defensive plays. 2 outs. Wow, could it be 2 innings in a row that we get out of a bases-loaded jam? Number 20. Maggie Tucker to the plate. She struck out her last at bat. Has a base hit. I'd pour it down that pipe right there 2 more times. Again, that's that outside pitch high in the zone that he has called for both pitchers. Oh, another good pitch. Did he? Yes. That's it. Again, it's so hard to go after. Let's go, Chloe. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bases loaded, and it has been with no outs. Oh, she foul-tipped it. I thought she struck her out. Man, I'm even standing with our crowd. This is a big moment in the game. No balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Strike 3, she is out. We did it. Are you kidding me? What a defensive effort and great pitching by Pless. You know, by having a couple walks and a base hit and this, that, or the other, but all said and done, no score. Another goose egg on the board in the outfield for the Lady Lions. It's 5-3. We'll see you in about 30 seconds. All right, Raider Nation, we are back. Big inning there as the Raiders come out unscathed with bases loaded, no out. 2 innings in a row, and it's not. And you really shouldn't brag on it because we don't want bases loaded every inning, but that's huge in a game like this against a quality opponent when you can put goose eggs on the board, especially when they get bases loaded with no outs. Wow, what pitching and defense can do in those instances. 5-3 here in the top of the 5th. Let me adjust my score bug. Haley Hand comes to the plate for the Lady Raiders. She had a base hit and a ground out. 1 ball, 1 strike. And Coach Thompson told me the home plate umpire signaled that this ball is slammed into right field for a base hit. her second of the night. When bases are loaded and there's 2 or less outs, and I may have got that wrong, but it was infield fly rule was in effect. And what that keeps the defense from doing is allowing, the runners are automatically tagging, so the batter is all automatically out, regardless if the person catches or not. But it just keeps the defense from deliberately dropping the ball and getting a double or triple play potentially because the runners are frozen at the bases, tagging up. Big cut there by Button Holton. Base hit and a walk. Two balls, 1 strike, runner at first, no outs, top of the 5th. If we can somehow scratch out another run here, that would be really good for the Lady Raiders. This ball is chopped down the left side. You can just tell after an inning like those last 2, especially the last one, these girls are fired up. They come off the field excited. Usually you see more of that on offense when you're scoring runs and stuff, but when you got a team that gets excited over making some defensive plays, you're on to something. Those types of plays and those innings, they do just the opposite to the opposing team. It kind of demoralizes you, get down on yourself. So hopefully, again, this game's not over by no means. We got another 2.5 to play. But hopefully, it's a sign of good things to come. Ball looked high in the zone, but again, that's been part of what he's been calling. Pless has struggled at the plate tonight with 2 strikeouts, so that just means she is due. I think the ball hit her. It's going to be a foul ball, and she's out because it hits her in play, and that's just bad luck. It's going to be a good bunt by Pless, but unfortunately, the ball hit her on the leg. So that's going to be just a ground out. Hollingsworth to the plate, walking a strikeout. So she's looking for something here. One ball, no strikes, 2 outs. Hollingsworth. Again, that's that place to throw, that place to pitch. That's the sweet spot. High and tight. 2 balls, 1 strike. A little too far off the plate. That was a good eye. I tell you what, this umpire, this whole crew thus far has done a really good job. Again, there's normally only 2, but this stage of the playoffs, there's 3 umpires. Ooh, that looked a little high, but again, that's that sweet spot for both pitchers. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Top of the 5th. Inside, that's ball 4. What a great at bat by this sophomore. Again, we got some athleticism on the on the bases. This is going to bring up Alexis Kirkland, and she can go too. But she struggled tonight with 2 strikeouts. You gotta know Coach Gay's encouraging her, telling her to relax a little bit. She could beat out a bunt, and that would certainly surprise the defense with 2 outs. But wouldn't hurt my feelings for a hit and run bunt right here. Try to drop it down that left third baseline. Oh, no square to bunt. She pops it up. This should be a can of corn for the center fielder, and she does squeeze it for the 3rd out. We're going to head to the bottom of the 5th. Your Raiders still lead, not trail, lead 5-3 in this game 1 of best of 3 series in the 2nd round, the Sweet 16 of the GHSA state playoffs. We'll be back in just a moment. Bottom of the 5th, Lady Raiders 5-3. Easterly to the plate. With a strikeout and a walk. Got to give a shout out. I want to appreciate the kind words from Coach Tanya Bordeaux. I want to congratulate her and her competition cheerleading squad for placing first this past weekend in their tournament and their competition as they're preparing for regionals in a few weeks. Good pitch on that outside corner. 2 balls, 1 strike, no outs. Ball's chopped. Could be trouble. Just too quick. Just a lot of speed there. Big hop. That last big hop is what it's going to be. Infield hit for Easterly, and that's the kind of stuff they're looking for. O'Shaughnessy, Oshanessy. I said earlier it was a G. Again, the coach, I'm trying to read his handwriting on their on the lineup. That's a Y right there in the middle, not a G. I said the G was silent earlier. O'Shaughnessy. And she has a ground out and a fielder's choice. That was back when they had bases loaded. I remember she hit it to the first baseman hand, and she went home instead of tagging first for the out there. So she is 0 for 2 tonight, followed by Galbraith. Evie Galbraith. And there's a bunt that could be trouble. Nope. Yep. Oh, we end up getting the lead runner. Holy smokes. And the only reason we did is I'm almost positive. I was watching the ball, but she had to have held up there at first, making sure that the pitcher was not going to make the play or catch the ball in the air. But getting the lead runner there was huge. Another fielder's choice there for O'Shaughnessy. And it brings Galbraith to the plate, and she has 2 ground outs. Abby Rhodes is on deck. Shearer, number 1, is going to be a courtesy runner at first. If it sounds like I'm shivering, I might be, because the temperature is dropping. It feels like it's dropping rapidly, but it's probably just about 70, 69 degrees, 68, 69 degrees. One hour, 48 minutes into this game, and we got 2.5 innings to go. Inside for strike. What a great pitch. Pless, I tell you, she's done a phenomenal job tonight. And just like a lot of the games that I've seen her pitch this year, she's pitched well enough to win. We just need to do it on the scoreboard. Ball was chopped foul. I was talking to a parent between innings. Matter of fact, Wayne Kirkland, I mentioned him earlier, Alexis's dad. And, we're just a young team, and it's a good problem for our program, if that's how I describe it. But these girls are talented. There's a swing and a miss. Oh, strikeout, and nearly a strike me out, throw me out at first base. These girls are scrappy. They ain't scared. Ball is slapped to the right side. 2 outs. Man, if we could stick another 0 here on the board for Lovett, that would be huge. Hadn't been any scoring since the second inning. Good pitch on that inside corner. Hey, thanks for the update, Coach Thompson. The Braves are up 4-2. I'm sitting here, and Landon's like, yeah, I know. Well, why didn't you tell me? Good pitch off, and then again, just off the plate. Great pitch, but it was not quite where it needed to be. 2 balls, 1 strike. I'm assuming that's about the 4th inning, 5th inning. Right up the middle could be a double play. We don't need a double play because there's 2 outs. It's going to end the inning. We're headed to the top of the 6th. Lady Raiders continue to lead 5-3. Again, that was I'm shivering, folks. It's getting cold. I apologize. We'll take a quick break on the NFHS Network, powered by Play on Sports, brought to you by BCTV's Red Raider Broadcasting. we are back to the top of the lineup. Ava Connor. She struggled a bit here. Reached on an error, strikeout, and a ground out. But, again, she's batting at the top of the lineup for a reason. Maybe she's going to prove it right here. Ball is hit sharply to the third baseman. Fires over to first. Again, I don't mind. I don't mind us going 3 up, 3 down as long as we do the same to them. Get this game on over with. 5-3 victory. I'll take it. But both teams have settled down defensively, and that's why we see basically on their scoreboard across there. 6 goose eggs, top and bottom for the third, fourth, and fifth inning. Top of the sixth. Base hit, right center. That's Riley. She's headed for it. She's going to stop with a double. She's working on the cycle, folks. Katie Johnson struggled as well. She's looking for something here. Got a runner in scoring position. Man, that'd be a good little security run there if we can get it to 6-3. It's something a little different about a 3-run versus a 2-run lead with 1 out. Boy, Andrews has been clutch. She was hit by her pitch, her first at bat. Then she's tripled, singled, and doubled. And now Johnson, the lone senior, wanting to extend her season. The last as a Bacon County Red Raider. Santana Green on deck. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ball fouled back out of play. My boy Landon's got the Braves game up on our table here. We can kind of keep up with it. We were disappointed whenever we found out that they're playing on the West Coast, but the game was starting at 5 p.m. This ball is hit to right field, and it was played perfectly by their right fielder. It's going to be 2 outs. Runner at second, which is Andrews, and it brings Green to the plate, followed by Hand, who had a base hit her last at bat. But Santana is 1 for 2 with a ground out and a base hit and a walk. She waited on it. There was a little changeup, a little off-speed pitch, but hit right on top of it. Ball low. High in the zone. Oh, man. Good pitch. I'm going to trust the guy. He's been pretty consistent on that Right side of the plate, high and low. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Come on, Santana. A little too far outside. She had a pitch to play with there. Real impressed with this catcher. She is the field general. You can tell. Big swing. Catcher's going to go to first for the final out. That's going to end the inning. But your Lady Raiders continue to lead 5-3 as we head to the bottom of the 6th. Just hanging in there, hanging in there, hanging in there. We're going to take another quick break and be back in just a moment. Here comes that catcher I was talking about, Allie Odie. Home run and a base hit. This is where you want her. You want her leading off. And you want this to be her last at bat. Pitch poured in a little low and inside by Pless. Ball is going to be hit to the second baseman. Johnson's going to have to be quick. She beat it out. Yeah, she is really, really athletic. You've heard the term catcher speed. That's not catcher speed.
Third baseman, number 3, Maura McBreen.
Runner at first. No outs. We've seen that before. McBreen, she's due. A walk, a strikeout, and a ground out. And there's a bunt, and they're going to get a double play for the Red Raiders. That's the risk reward. We're trying to get a bunt and run. It's going our way at the moment. At the moment, Raiders are 4 outs away from getting a big Game 1 win over the Lovett Lions. Coming in, if you were joining this early, I did a little research. It looked like we were going to be competitive with this team, and we're going to get out of the inning. Another goose egg for the Lions. I said when the game began, we were going to be competitive with this team because, in their region they were number 1. Only lost 1 game in region, but they lost about 10 games outside of region. And you look at the numbers and you just crunch it. And Region 2, AA, 1 through 4, pretty solid teams. The competition is a little different than the region they face here. And I saw last week that Pace Academy was eliminated by a 3 seed, and they were the number 2 seed coming out. So that was something else. That was a signal that we were going to probably compete with these girls we're talking about 7 starting seniors on this Lions team. Now, granted, they are without their number 1 pitcher. Now, I wasn't told that she was just a super overpowering type pitcher. I don't know any details, but I do know she was the number 1 that went down with an injury and out for the season. She's committed to Dartmouth along with the catcher, and we've seen what the catcher can do. But again, that's all part of it. The Lady Raiders have played really good defense. We've scored 5 runs in the first 2 innings, allowing only 3 in the first 2 innings, and we're right here in it to win it. Again, I just would love to see if we could scratch out 1 more run to extend that lead to 3. But if not, we can maybe take care of business in the bottom of the 7th to conclude this game 1. And just a little heads up, as soon as this game does conclude, I'll try to remind you in just a few moments, we'll have about somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes in between the games, and then we'll start back up. So just go back to that link, that 7 p.m. link. It'll work just perfectly for you. It will go live, at that time, approximately 20 to 30 minutes after this game concludes. I'll remind everyone of that later. All right, let's see here. We are at Haley. Haley Hand to the plate. 2 balls and no strikes. Haley's got 2 base hits and a ground. She is 2 for 3 on the evening. Sophomore for the Lady Raiders. High. Struggling. Nowhere near the plate. Third baseman comes over to console her a little bit. 3 balls and no strikes. I think I would watch 2. There's 1. That was that 3-0 count, which usually 9 times out of 10 at any level, you take that pitch. And that's going to be strike 2. I was watching a little bit of the Boston and Houston game last night in the early inning, was first or second inning. Bases loaded, dude, was 3-0 count. And he swung at that 3-0 pitch and hit a grand slam. Oh, boy. Strike 3. She 3 balls in a row, 3 strikes in a row. Button Holton to the plate, struck out her last at bat. Had a single her first at bat. So she's 1 for 2 with that walk. Ball outside. Definitely be hunting my hoodie in between games. Win or lose. One ball, 1 strike. Both sides, Raider fans and the Lion fans, are getting a little bit louder here as this game has progressed. Low in the zone for Button. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Ball really low. Pitcher looks frustrated. I'm not sure why. She came back strong on Haley, throwing 3 strikes in a row. Take a moment to thank audibly title sponsors for this year's athletic events. That's Burke CPAs, Coley's Electric and Plumbing Supply, Andy Cawthorn Auto Sales, and Family Vision Care. Folks, shop local. I'm talking to myself, too, and I do as much as I can. Obviously, there's some things that you can't find. There's some things that it's just, oh, and there's a hit batsman. Second time she has took one for the team tonight. Got it between the shoulder blades earlier. One out, a runner on. Chloe has pitched a fine game, has an opportunity to help herself here. Struggled at the plate. Coach Gay having I'm not sure what type of conversation he's having. He's going to, whatever he's talking about, he wants the umpires. The home plate umpire is going to consult with the other two. This is interesting. I don't know if it's something the pitcher's doing or not sure. Nonetheless, one out, top of the seventh. Runner at first. Lady Raiders with a 5-3 lead. We've had it since the end of the second inning. Long game. 2 hours and 9 minutes. Or maybe it's not a long game. Maybe they average about 2 hours. It just took an hour to play the first 2.5 innings. Pless at the plate. She slams this one into left center. Hunted down by the left fielder. It's going to be 2 outs. She put the bat on the ball. That's going to give her some confidence going into the next game. She likely won't get another at bat. It's going to bring Anna Kate. She is 0 for 1 with a strikeout and 2 walks. 2 important walks. Just as good as a hit. Great defensive player. Struggled a bit at the plate this year. But she could break out right here with a ball in the gap. Roll to the wall. And she takes ball 1 with 2 outs. Ball's high in the zone. It looks good. You can see it, but it's just really hard to hit. Another ball, or strike, excuse me, low in the zone. Oh, it's going to be a tough play. She's going to beat it out. It's an infield. She got to get back. Oh, my goodness. Oh. Infield hit by Hollingsworth. Again, that'll give her a little confidence. Well, that was probably an error. I take that back, but still, even still, that's going to give her some confidence. It's going to be Kirkland to the plate with runners at first and second. She's due. Update game 2. Jeff Davis up 3-0 at the end of 3 innings. Again, that's against Banks County. Quality program up there just north of Commerce is where that high school is. Ball just outside. Alexis Kirkland, 2 outs. Again, he's been consistent in that spot all night long. This ball is hit. Oh, and it's just off the handle. Thought it had a chance to get over the head of the shortstop, but that's going to end the inning. We're still leading 5-3 as we head to the bottom of the 7th. This game seems like it's been on forever, but it's about the average time. Like I said, the first couple innings is what took so long. Take another quick break, catch our breath, and see if the Raiders can get 3 outs and take game 1. All right, it's wild and crazy. We just got to go give you a little shot there of Raider Nation. The faithful headed to the bottom of the 7th, up 2. I got to find where we're at in the lineup here. I think this is Gore. Just can't give them anything. Just got to make solid defensive plays, throw good pitches, let them hit it, let our defense do the work. 1 down, just like that. Don't walk any. If they get a base hit, so be it. Just don't beat ourselves. Folks, I'm not going to waste much time after this game's over, one way or the other. So we can take a quick break between games. Again, I got to hunt down my hoodie and a couple other things, take care of some other things before the next game starts. And so again, I'll be brief in our wrap up. But once again, we'll have about 20 to 30 minutes in between games for the girls to take a quick break and restroom and get them a bite to eat if they choose and that sort of thing. And then we'll be back. This ball is chopped to the second baseman, and it's going to be a base hit. Couldn't get her glove down on it. And again, the ball just sticks. It just sticks to this surface for some reason.
Right fielder, number 7, Logan Easterly.
Easterly to the plate. That was Tucker that got the base hit. Again, headed to the bottom half of the lineup that struggled for them as well. She has a strikeout, a walk, and a base hit her last at bat. Good pitch. Oh, I'm not sure what was wrong with it. Ball 1. Oh, we hit her. Runners at first and second now with 1 out.
First baseman, number 16, Megan O'Shaughnessy.
Jeff Davis has extended their lead against Banks in the second game, 5-0. They won game 1, 2-0. Timeout here, just to kind of regroup. Bottom of the 7th. Can't make anything easy, it doesn't seem like. 1 out with runners at first and second. We just want to try to get out of this inning before we get back to the top of the lineup to that catcher. Wow. And so we got 3 batters to do that. O'Shaughnessy, is on deck. Easterly is at the plate. Good pitch on that outside corner for strike. Again, we can give 1 back, but we got to trade an out. Got to have an out. I don't know. I'm feeling a pop-up here. And there's a ground ball to our second baseman. She scoops it up, and there's the out we needed. It's going to be 2 outs. Runners at second and third. Again, that runner at third means nothing.
Second baseman, number 13, Evan Galbraith.
Galbraith to the plate. She has grounded out, and struck out. So her coach is thinking, she's due. I'm hoping she's done. Second and third, 2 outs. strike on that outside corner. Pull them in there, Pless. No balls, 1 strike. Ball's fouled. No balls, 2 strikes. Come on, Lady Raiders. Ringer up. Oh, it was just off the plate. A little further than he likes, I guess. Man, that was close. Woo, that was close. Oh, base hit. This could be trouble. Runner's coming home. That's going to tie it up. Wow. What a big hit. Big hit by the number 8 hitter. Wow, 5-5. I tell you, that's tough. I was going to talk about it a while ago. These types of games, game ones are huge for a couple reasons because the emotion of this first game can dictate, number one, the second game, obviously. But, you know, a situation like this, you know, at this point, whoever wins this game has a massive advantage game 2 just because of the emotional swing, because the Lady Raiders have led this game the entire way, and now they've tied it up. We got her out. No, she's safe. I'm sorry. Runners at the corner. Runners at the corner with 2 outs. This is the way. This is. Got to find a way to get it out here. They're going to put her on. You have to. You got to walk her. We're back to the top of the lineup. You got a base.
Third baseman, number 3, Laura Dupree.
Led the whole game, and then it's unfortunate. The number 8 batter comes up with a huge hit to score 2 to tie it up. Two outs, bases loaded. Everybody, well, not everybody, but most everybody's on their feet. I can't control the crowd down below there, kind of in the way a little bit. Big spot here for Pless and the Lady Raiders. Just trying to find an out. And there's a strike. No balls. 2 strikes. 2 outs. High and out of the zone. She's got a couple pitches to give here, but I'm telling you, if she can go that high and outside or low and outside corner, he's called it all night. Big cut, foul. Young Raiders team trying to steal one. Game one. It's going to take extra innings if we can get one more out. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of the second. 2 are in. It's 5-5. Ball is hammered out of play. This could be trouble. We get the out. It extends the game. Chloe Pless comes back. She's tough now. I know she give up a hit there, but that's huge. That's huge. It's unfortunate again we gave up the 2 runs, but getting that final out, not losing this game like that in the bottom of the 7th, it says something, and I think it's going to say something for this team as we move forward tonight. We're going to have an opportunity. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be back in just a moment. Hey, this is playoff softball in the Sweet 16, 5-5. Lady Raiders led the whole way up until that bottom of the 7th, and the Lions did what they needed to do to get back in the game. But the good news is we got another at bat, and we're at the top of the lineup with Ava Connor. And that is a changeup off speed low. 1 ball, no strikes. This is where we need to do it here. We need to get a run or 2 right here in the top of our lineup. And I think I told y'all earlier it's cold. Low. 3 balls, no strikes. This pitcher has struggled. She's done what she's needed to do these last couple innings, but she has struggled against several of our batters, especially early in the inning. And this is one time she come back against one of our batters after a 3-0 count, threw 3 strikes in a row to strike her out. And that ball's too far inside. That's 4 balls in a row. We got a base runner. That's what we want, Ava Connor. And guess who's coming up? And that's Riley Andrews, who is a home run away from the cycle, a triple, a double, and a single. Just not in that order. Man, I'd like to see her smoke one here. Let's get that cycle. I gave her the triple. It may have been a double. They kind of bobble the ball just a little bit out in right center on that exchange. But here we go. Oh, big cut. All the way out to the drop-off circle here at this fine facility. No balls, one strike. She was dead on it. I think that was an off-speed pitch, too. Low. Inside, 2 balls, 1 strike. Another ball inside, 3 balls, 1 strike. I think she's being careful with her. I think he wants her to take here. And she doesn't. She's going to get a base hit in the left center. And she is 4 for 4 for the night. Katie Johnson's going to come to the plate. Again, Katie's looking something here, and I know she wants to help our team. Runners at first and second with no outs. Get down, ball. Whew, that was close. That was close. Got to get that ball in the dirt. We've seen it backfire for Lovett in the bottom of the 6th when they attempted that type of bunt and got into a double play, or bottom of the 5th maybe. Squares the bunt. Pulls back. 1 ball, 1 strike. No outs. Runners at first and second. Little small ball from Coach Gay here, or at least it appears that way. And there's the bunt down the third base line. That's what you want. She's safe. Bases loaded, no outs. What an incredible play by the senior. Just a perfect bunt. He asked her to step up and do it, and she did. I mean, wow. Miss Lisa Hughes texts me, says, I'm a nervous wreck. I can't hardly stand it. And I told her, I said, you really got to laugh out loud because I'm sitting here freezing and I'm nervous. So you can imagine how I'm shaking. Oh, my, get to the – okay. Got to get that ball down. I like this aggressive play here. Get them on, get them over, get them in. It's a little small ball here with no outs. Got to make something happen. Everybody's in on the infield. Santana could come back and swing at one here. We just need something to the outfield. We got to get a run home. Ball high. And I don't know, it doesn't matter now, but that first pitch may have been a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike, no outs. Got to find a way to get 1 run in. Good speed on the bases. Low in the zone for strike 2.